It was an ordinary Thursday afternoon in the sleepy town of Willow Creek. The kind of place where neighbors greet each other on the sidewalk and leave their doors unlocked without a second thought. But that day, as the sun began to dip behind the autumn leaves, a single knock shattered the illusion of safety and changed everything. Emma Whitfield, 27 years old, a vibrant, kind-hearted graphic designer, living alone in a cozy rental cottage on Maple Street. She had dreams, a close-knit circle of friends, and a mother who spoke to her every night before bed. But on the evening of October 3, 2022, Emma didn't answer her phone, and she never would again. The last person to speak to Emma was her best friend, Kayla Monroe. At 5:52 p.m., Emma ended the call with a cheerful, "Someone's knocking. I'll call you right back." Kayla waited and waited, but the call never came. When Emma failed to return her mother's goodnight call, concern turned to panic. By sunrise, the local police were standing at her door. Inside the house, her keys on the counter, her phone charging, her purse untouched, her car still parked in the driveway. Emma Whitfield was gone. A neighbor reported hearing the knock too, and saw a man, mid-30s, dark hoodie, baseball cap, but no one recognized him. No cameras had caught him. No one saw which way he went. A stranger had knocked, and Emma had answered. That much was certain. The police retraced her last steps. Nothing unusual. No signs of forced entry. No struggle. Just one chilling observation. The front door had been left slightly ajar. Days passed. Flyers flooded the streets. Candlelight vigils lit up the nights. But no sign of Emma. The town began to lock its doors for the first time in decades. Fear had settled in. The stranger was still out there. Detectives uncovered something Emma's friends didn't know. 2 weeks prior, Emma had received a bouquet of flowers. No note, no sender. A coincidence? Or the beginning of a sinister countdown? Emma wasn't the first. 2 other women had vanished within 60 miles of Willow Creek in the past year. Same profile. Same eerie silence. Same dead end. A serial predator was at work. But the question remained, why Emma? Investigators canvassed Emma's social circle. One name kept resurfacing, Logan Pierce, a friendly face at the local coffee shop. Charming, soft-spoken, always there, too perfect to be overlooked. Phone records revealed a chilling truth. Emma's number had exchanged 2 brief text messages with an unknown number the day before she vanished. The number was unregistered, but the signal tower showed something else. The last ping came from Logan Pierce's apartment. Police questioned Logan. He was polite, cooperative. Alibi? He'd been home alone, watching Netflix, but there was no digital footprint to confirm it. Forensic teams found a small fragment of fabric on Emma's front porch. It didn't match any of her clothing, but it did match a jacket found in Logan's laundry. The net was tightening. Logan skipped town 2 days later. A note left behind read, "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." A manhunt began, but Logan had vanished, just like Emma. 6 weeks later, in a rural stretch of forest 120 miles away, hikers stumbled upon a shallow grave. Emma's bracelet, Emma's shoes, and a second, unknown set of remains. Dental records confirmed the remains. Emma was gone, but the second victim? A 29-year-old woman who'd vanished from a neighboring state a year prior. The predator had been at work long before Emma. An anonymous tip led police to an abandoned cabin. Inside, Emma's coat, photographs of her, taken without her knowledge, weeks before the knock on her door. The stranger was not random. She had been chosen. Logan Pierce was captured at the Canadian border. When confronted with the evidence, his facade crumbled. He confessed, not only to Emma's murder, but to 5 others spanning 3 states. Logan's motive? A pathological obsession with the perfect disappearance. He left no fingerprints, no witnesses. He treated each victim as a puzzle. Until Emma, whose sharp-witted friends and family wouldn't let the case fade away. The courtroom was silent as the evidence unfolded. The jury didn't deliberate long. Life without parole. Justice was served. but the scars would remain. Emma's story left a permanent shadow over Willow Creek. Her mother, in a televised interview, said, "My daughter didn't vanish. She was stolen. But we got her justice." The stranger had knocked, and for once the system had knocked back. While cleaning out Logan Pierce's apartment, investigators uncovered a password-protected external hard drive buried beneath loose floorboards. When they finally cracked it, what they found was worse than anyone had imagined. Hundreds of hidden folders, each one labeled with a woman's name, each one holding photos, videos, and detailed notes. Emma's folder was the most recent, but it wasn't the last one he had prepared. Among the files, detectives stumbled on a name they hadn't seen in any police report: Megan Holloway. When they tracked her down, she was alive. Megan had met Logan 2 months before Emma's disappearance, but something about him had unsettled her. She had changed her number and moved away, never reporting the encounter. Her decision had likely saved her life, but Megan's testimony would become the final nail in Logan's defense. When Logan was interrogated a second time, Megan's name was the trigger. He broke. He admitted to stalking his victims long before any physical encounter, trailing them for weeks, learning their schedules, their friends, their fears. He called it perfectly engineered fate. For Emma, that fate began the day the anonymous flowers arrived. Court psychiatrists would later describe Logan as exhibiting a unique blend of narcissistic superiority and sociopathic detachment. To him, these weren't murders. They were disappearances, puzzles, his attempt at immortality. But Emma's case shattered his illusion. She was never supposed to be found. 6 months after Emma's body was laid to rest, her mother stood at the annual Willow Creek Memorial. She left a single note on the community board: "To the stranger who knocked, you didn't erase her. You only made her unforgettable." Justice had been served, but the story would live on as both a warning and a promise that no victim would ever be forgotten. As police cross-referenced Logan Pierce's files, a shocking discovery emerged. The earliest folder dated back 10 years. Long before Emma, long before Willow Creek, Logan had been perfecting his method. In cold, clinical detail, he logged everything: victims' routines, habits, favorite coffee orders, walking routes, and even the exact time they opened their doors. He had always been there, watching, waiting, invisible. But for all his precision, Logan had made one mistake. In Emma's case file, hidden deep in his notes, there was a receipt. A hardware store purchase for duct tape, rope, and gloves, dated just 1 day before her disappearance. It was the first tangible, time-stamped evidence, proof that Emma had been pre-selected, her fate sealed before the knock ever came. A single receipt would become the crown jewel of the prosecution's case. Former co-workers of Logan Pierce began to speak out after his arrest. One woman recalled a conversation that haunted her. "He once joked that people are too trusting. He said all it took was a smile or a knock, and most people would open the door. They had thought it was dark humor. Now they knew it was a confession hiding in plain sight." Emma's story became a national headline, but for those who loved her, the loss was personal and permanent. Her best friend Kayla, who'd been on the phone during that final moment, would later admit, "I hear that knock in my dreams, every night." The haunting irony: if Emma hadn't answered, she might still be alive. On the final day of Logan Pierce's sentencing, the courtroom sat frozen in silence. The judge's voice was steady, but firm. "For every knock you delivered, you've silenced a life. Now the law will silence you." Logan Pierce was sentenced to life behind bars, without the possibility of parole. No more doors to knock on. No more lives to erase. For Emma's family, it wasn't closure, but it was justice. Just when investigators thought the evidence trail had run dry, a local real estate office came forward. Their security cameras, positioned across the street from Emma's house, had captured a blurry figure walking away the evening she vanished. The man paused for a brief moment at the end of the block, looking back at Emma's house. And then, he smiled. That single frozen frame became the face of pure malice in court. In the abandoned cabin where Emma's belongings were recovered, police noticed disturbed soil beneath a worn rug. Beneath it, they discovered a hidden trapdoor, leading to a soundproof underground room. Inside were shackles, a single chair, and the haunting evidence of more than one victim. Emma's fate, it seemed, had been part of a far larger nightmare. Forensics teams combing through Emma's laptop uncovered something no one expected. A draft email, unsent, but time-stamped the day before her disappearance. "There's been a man hanging around lately. I think he's following me. Or maybe I'm just being paranoid." She had almost warned someone, but she never hit send. The stranger had been closer than anyone realized, even before the knock. As the full scale of Logan Pierce's crimes unraveled, the case expanded beyond state lines. A task force identified 5 other cold cases linked by the same haunting pattern. A knock at the door, a vanished young woman, an untouched home. For years, Logan had been moving from town to town, collecting lives, hidden behind the mask of a charming drifter. Emma wasn't his only victim, but she was the last. During the final week of trial, Logan shocked the courtroom by withdrawing his earlier confession. He now claimed Emma had left willingly with him that night. The defense tried to twist the story, painting Emma as reckless, impulsive, perhaps even complicit in her own disappearance. But the evidence spoke louder. The hidden room, the flowers, the photos. Logan's lie crumbled in front of a jury that no longer needed convincing. On sentencing day, Emma's mother stood to address the man who had stolen her daughter. "You knocked on her door, but you didn't steal her spirit. That lives on. Today we lock the door on you. Forever." The judge's gavel fell. Life without parole. For the first time since Emma vanished, Willow Creek slept a little easier. Justice, though delayed, had finally arrived. Stay tuned for more chilling cases on Cold Case Chronicles, where the truth is always darker than fiction. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to Cold Case Chronicles. We dive deeper into the most chilling, unsolved mysteries, and together, we uncover what was left behind. Like, share, and leave a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. Stay vigilant. Stay curious. The truth never rests.